go. Out from the other day, we put it in the fridge overnight. I'm going to take some basic, simple bar-ass bacon, the cheapest stuff you can find, because you want thinner bacon anyway rather than super thick, in my opinion. Thinner bacon cooks down easy, and it gets the greases into the food really nice. Alright, so it's all about preparation. Alright, so we got the turkey breasts from last night ready to go. Talked about the bar-ass bacon. Another critical item is Philadelphia cream cheese. Do not skimp on the cream cheese. You want to get the right kind, and Philadelphia is the way to go. Alright, you notice I got one bar of it sitting in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of pico de gallo to the cream cheese, a little bit of the beer can chicken as well, seasoning that we talked about before, and a tiny bit of Mrs. Dash as well. Then I'm going to cream that cream cheese up so I'll be able to use it with those flavors, so that as that cream cheese is getting hot and melty, it starts to ooze into it with all those great flavors. I always have at least 6 peppers, and when you go to the store and you're looking for peppers, try to find one that is reasonably tall. And I like to use red peppers because I just think the sweetness of them really adds to the flavor when we put this all together. Have yourself a board where you can work on it, and have a bowl or a dish for all of it to go into as you're making them. Get your grill cranked up and nicely heated. I got a Traeger running out there, so I got it set at 350 degrees. And now all this is only going to need to cook for about 15 minutes. Now if you're using a regular grill, you're going to have to take your time and keep turning everything so it doesn't overcook on one side too much. I usually keep the peppers aiming down if it's a normal grill. The other thing you need is some really good toothpicks. Some nice wooden toothpicks are perfect. You can buy them cheap at any store. And there they are. And you want to pull out about as many as you think you're going to need ahead of time, because otherwise you're reaching in with chickeny fingers and you're ruining all the rest of them. Over here I have a nice combination, and this is the kind of baster I prefer to use, the silicone type. The nice thing about it is nothing sticks to it. It just runs right off into the meat where you want it. So I have about ½ a cup of olive oil in here, and then I have some more teriyaki, probably ½ a cup of teriyaki in there. I've also thrown a little bit of the beer can chicken seasoning and Mrs. Dash in there because I like to baste them in between their cooking times. Alright, so now we're going to set up our peppers, and I'll show you how I do that. Alright, the peppers. Go ahead and core them out, just like we did the green pepper before. And again, I like to save the seeds for the chickens. Alright, now I really want to use as much of this pepper as possible. So let's see, the best way to cut it, straight across on one side. Get rid of the pieces. And now think of this as a little bowl that your chicken strip is going to go inside, so it needs to be able to hold things. And so I have 6 peppers. If I were to make this into 4 pieces, that'd be 24. So you want to figure that out. I know I got about 21 pieces of chicken over here. So if I take each pepper and turn it into 4 pieces times 6, I am good to go. And I don't want them to be too small, because this is a full meal when we get done. So I'm going to cut them in half again, and then right there I got a nice little boat to put all the good food inside of. And I am going to take an entire strip of bacon to wrap around this whole thing. So I get this piece just like it is now. Then I'm going to put cream cheese in it first with the seasoning. Then I'm going to lay my piece of chicken on top of that. And then I'm going to wrap it with a full piece of bacon. And I'm going to run a toothpick through so that it's holding it together. Alright? Let me go ahead and finish cutting these up and not bore you to death with that. And then we'll be back with the process of putting it together. Alright. I got my sour cream all set up. I never told you how much seasoning I put in it, but you can kind of see it right now. It's not overly seasoned. Again, that's using just a little bit of the pico de gallo seasoning right there, and a little bit of the beer can chicken seasoning, and a bit of Mrs. Dash. Now when I say a bit, I'm talking about a teaspoon of each for 1 bar of Philadelphia cream cheese. Alright, so I got another one to go. Bacon is out so I can get to it. Chicken's here, because your hands are going to get messy. You don't want to be undoing packages My peppers are all cut up, ready to go. And all I did was quarter them. Really simple. Just follow a line that gives you a nice little boat to build in. Alright, toothpicks are ready. I got an extra one back there in case I don't have quite enough turkey in here, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably need to quarter that one up too. And then that is just for basting on the grill. Alright, so here's the process. Take your boat. Get just enough, less than a tablespoon. Get your sour cream in there. Now you can use any seasoning you want, obviously. This is just what I've used. Use your own imagination, create. Don't follow recipes. Recipes are a guide. Not a promise, not a guarantee. Alright, so we've got some cream cheese in there. Not too much, not too little. You can actually go a little bit more. That's a pretty big piece. Alright. Find a nice piece of turkey. All the seasoning's in it already, like we did overnight. When I see the seasoning sticking out like that, I usually flip it the other way so the seasoning goes in. Alright, now if you want to make this a traditional popper, then I would put a sliver of jalapeno underneath the turkey against the cream cheese. That's my opinion. Alright, so we got that in there. The best part, one whole piece of bacon. Yes. How can you go wrong with too much bacon? Stretch your bacon out a little bit. Overlap it. Bring it around. Stretch it out a little bit more. And lay it on there like that. Take your toothpick. Shove it straight through at an angle. So it's poking out the other side. Just enough to hold it all together. And there you go. Tell me that's not something to die for. Once that is cooked, it is fantastic. Now you can do any combination of any type of foods inside of this that you want to. But for me, this is a perfect little meal, and this is hefty. This is very hearty. So I'm going to make a pile of these, come back and show you. It's really just that simple. Not much more to it. Get creative though, have some fun with it. Alright, I'm going to get this done and get a pile of them in my dish. Okay folks, getting close. You can see it's getting filled up nicely here. And there's a couple things. You're getting near the end of it and you're wondering if you're going to be able to fit it all together. What I like to do is on the last 8 or so, count everything out. Take all of your left pieces that you have, still leftover pieces, put all the sour cream into all of them first. You can do that ahead of time. There's many different ways of doing this, so that way you don't end up with too much of any one thing. Count your bacon, make sure that you have enough for what you need to do, and press on with the end of it. Also, when you see that you might have a few extra pieces left over, combine them if you need to. It's no big deal. Just combine the pieces like that. And the other thing I wanted to say is you notice one end of the bacon is narrower than the rest of it. So I like to start with that piece when I'm wrapping them. And again, stretch them right out. Don't be afraid. And if you need to use more than one toothpick, use more than one toothpick. Oh, I just tore that. That's going to make a mess. No big deal. I'll just fold it back over itself. Make sure that my turkey is covered with bacon, no matter what. Push that toothpick through all the way on an angle into the back so that when it pokes out, I didn't say that earlier, make sure it pokes out into another piece of bacon. Alright? And if you think you don't have enough, no big deal. Add another toothpick. Just don't forget to tell your guests or whoever you're feeding that there's toothpicks in this, because that's going to cook. And that could be kind of a problem when they bite into it and find themselves getting stabbed by a toothpick. Alright, I'm going to finish the rest of these up and then we'll be taking this out to the grill. Okay folks, we're out here at the Traeger. It is nice and hot. I got it cranked up to about 350. Look at this big pot of awesomeness. Alright, we don't want to leave the lid open too long. Just going to get them all right on there. Again, I like to put them on so that the pepper's facing down, because I want that pepper to get cooked up, and that's going to be harder to do than that wild turkey. Because as you probably well know, turkey breast is going to cook pretty fast. Again, if you're using a regular grill, no big deal. But you want to have that basting ready to go, especially on a regular grill, because stuff's going to flame up, get hot as that bacon grease drips off. And that's the nice thing about the Traeger. But I've used a regular grill forever. This Traeger's new to me. Honestly, I haven't had it that long. There's some pros and cons to it, for sure. But if you want to know about that, that's another discussion. I love it. Otherwise, it's a great grill. It's a lot of fun to use. I love that you don't get the flare-ups. And there we go. Now, a regular grill is easier and faster to some degree, I think, only because, well, you got flame to work with. It's going to cook. It's going to sear those peppers really nicely. And with the Traeger, it's just a little bit more difficult to manage. Get that more in the back. I always find it tends to be a little bit cooler near the front of my Traeger. Pay attention to that. Alright, you need to really manage this if you're on a normal grill. Pay attention, because you will lose control of it. And the flames will be everywhere. So get them on there. Try not to overcook it, but get your bacon done. Alright, I'm going to close this up, and we'll come back and see how it goes. I'm going to go for 15 minutes and see where we're at. More to come. Okay, we're back. It's been 15 minutes. I just opened up the Traeger. And this is the difference between a Traeger grill and a standard grill. On a standard grill, 15 minutes, this would be done. On a Traeger, you can see the bacon is still, well, it's still cooking, basically. You're not getting that direct flame contact. I'm going to baste it, and on the Traeger, I'm going to give it a little longer time. I just want this good flavor. The olive oil dripping down, and the seasonings I put in here as well. But I guarantee you'd have been manning this thing, basting it, flipping them, turning them. And this is my first time doing these on the Traeger, so it's kind of an experiment for me. Those of you who use a Traeger all the time, I could probably learn something from you. Back. I don't want to flip them over because what will happen is the sour cream is just going to run right out as it heats up. So I got to keep them upwards like a boat. What I see. I left a couple upside down intentionally to see what happened. Really, they cook identical on either side, and that's the thing about the Traeger, that indirect heat. It's really fantastic for cooking foods. I love it on a steak. My elk steaks are just amazing on this Traeger. Deer steaks, not like anything else you could. It is fantastic. The back is definitely cooking faster, though, just like I expected. I might just move everything towards the back. See how that works out. Quick basting, this teriyaki. Add that flavor. Let that sear into it. Run down over it. Really nice. If I had done this on an open flame, we would have some serious flames right now. Hope I'm talking loud enough for you to hear. If you have any questions or anything you want to add to it, please feel free to post. As soon as these are done, I'll give you the presentation. They're cooking good. It looks fantastic. I think it's going to come out great. I'm going to go 10 more minutes and call it good. I'm ready to take these off the grill. I took a look at the Traeger. I added another 10 minutes to it. So the amount of food and the fact that it's not direct heat, but it's indirect heat, it's kind of like cooking bacon in your oven, laying on something. It takes a little bit more effort. So I've gone 15 plus another 10. And I did bump the temperature up to 375. That made a big difference too. So let's take a look at it. Now we're talking. Nice and sizzly, not rubbery bacon, and the juice is just fantastic. So I'm going to take them off. You know the turkey's cooked through because it's turkey breast. It doesn't take long. So here we go. So now we got the white wild turkey chili. Northwest Spur Chasers White Wild Turkey Chili. We'll call these unpopped poppers. So I think for them to be poppers, you have to have jalapeno in them. Man, they look fantastic. So we're going to put a bowl of the chili together. I'm going to add a couple of these to the plate as well. So between that and a small bowl of chili and these poppers, you got a heck of a meal going on. Man, they look good. Oh, that looks so good. What a beautiful day it is today, too. Alright, there you go. I mean, that's fantastic. If that doesn't make your mouth drool and water, I don't know what does. So let's go put it together with the chili, and I'll show you how we do our final fiesta resistance in building this plate and making it just gorgeous to serve anybody a gourmet meal. Let's go on inside for a minute. Alright folks, we're inside and we are good to go. The chili is here. I got a plate all nicely decked out. Got a nice sharp knife, fork and spoon ready to go. Let's see how the chili is going to look. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, this tastes so good. I already had some. Alright, so presentation is everything. Same with decoys. Presentation is everything. Putting your decoy in the right place. And we're going to do more videos and talk about technicalities this year. Let's get a nice scoop in there. We don't want to overdo it though, because there's going to be a lot of food here. Alright. We got our chili in the bowl. I think I was steaming out my lens. There it goes. It's clearing up. Alright. Chili's in the bowl. Now we got some good Mexican style blend cheese over here. We got our sour cream, cumin, paprika, and some more pico de gallo, depending on how you want to run it. Alright, so what I like to do is put the cheese on next. I'm just going to grab some. Nobody has a clue. Alright, we got the cheese blend on there. Not too much. And what I like to do, excuse me, because again, I'm holding everything at the same time. I'm going to take some sour cream, drop that on there. Not too much. Looking good. Then I take a little bit of paprika. Get that on there for color, because it looks good. A little bit of pico de gallo, because it tastes good. And then a little bit more of the greens that we had earlier that we mixed into the chili. Cilantro for garnish. And there it is. You got your chili looking gorgeous. The cilantro adds a great flavor to it even afterwards. And I'm going to take this plate over here next to these amazing treats. And I left my tongs outside, so I'm going to put one, two on the plate. And there you go. That's the way we do it here. Alright folks, John here at Northwest Spur Chasers. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you enjoyed the food. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to post them. If you enjoyed this and you thought it was worth it, please share it with your friends. Like it and share it. And sign on to us. There'll be a lot more coming. I'm going to do some product reviews. I got a new vest this year. I'm really impressed with the Nightingale Run and Gun 300 turkey vest. It's close to perfection in my opinion for the way I like to hunt. I also grabbed a few more calls, some other things. We'll go over it. And then I said before, I'm going to show you what to do with those spurs if you find some good ones. If you got a couple of big long ones hanging out, I'll show you what we do with them and what possibilities. So we'll play with that too. Alright, more to come. Hope you enjoyed the meal. Looking forward to getting out in the woods. Come on in the spring. Meantime.